Base, this is Air 1. Checking in. We're at the mill. We're ready to begin our sling operations.
Air 1, the foreman requests you deliver saw blades and supplies to the upper deck. They are ready with logs prepared for you to pick up and deliver to the mill.
Air 1 copies. We'll grab the tool crate and head up to the upper deck to deliver the supplies. After dropping tools, we'll begin sling load transfer of the logs prepared for our pickup.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Blue Echo, and today we are going to take a look at some awesome scenery by WingBoss. He's got a heli logging scenery that's available on flightsim.to. The link will be down in the description, but we're near Revelstoke, British Columbia, and we're going to take a look at a couple different things here. And one of the things that we're going to look at, in addition to using this scenery, is a civilian cargo mission that was posted on the Hype Performance Group Discord that involves retrieving tools from the mill here and bringing them up to one of the heli bases or the landing pads up at the logging site, or retrieving logs from the logging site and bringing them down and dropping them here. The mission itself keeps track of some scoring, and you can utilize that scoring to pick up tool crates down here, bring them up to the top, and then fly up and grab additional logs and bring them down here and keep track of your scoring along the way. Each of those tasks will earn you a point. There's one other thing that we're going to take a look at here, and I wanted to show off a new livery for the H145 civilian cargo version. I put this together because there's not really a lot of civilian cargo variant skins on flightsim.to. So by the time this video goes live, hopefully that link is up there. It's been uploaded, it's waiting for approval, and the link for this livery for the fictional Heli 1 Forestry Services company will be live on flightsim.to. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on the scenery, on the mission, and specifically about the livery that I put together. All right, we're back in the cabin of the helicopter in the cockpit here, and we've got our TAWs muted. Helicopter's all set up and ready to go. Our landing lights are on. Everything's been started up. We'll make sure our cargo hook is enabled. We'll get our helicopter set up in just a second, but I want to show you in the mission library here. If you go in here and under cargo missions, that's where I have this one saved. Heli logging Revelstoke, BC, Canada. This is the mission that we're going to be running. This is available on the Hype Performance Group User Missions Discord channel. So head on over there and check that out if you're interested in picking that up. A couple things here. You can see the mission briefing here it says you must install the scenery. The flightsim.to scenery link that I have on there has some requirements that go with it. So make sure you pay attention in the description and get all that stuff downloaded. If you see this red line though, the red text, and you've got all that stuff installed, just ignore this. It's an advisory telling you that you have to have the scenery installed to run the mission. We're going to close the briefing out, and we've got a couple things going on here. There's a heli log, or the log drop point is anywhere within this zone. The tools that we would carry up to the top are located at this location. And then if I zoom the map out a little bit, over in this direction, you can see the lower deck and upper deck points are marked on the map. So we'll be retrieving logs and dropping off tools at the upper deck and heading over there. So mission's all set up, ready to go. It's going to keep track of our score from us. We'll go back to follow aircraft. I'm going to set this up and zoom us in a little bit more so that we can see that. And we go over into the aircraft setup. A couple things that you want to do: make sure you're running with a low amount of fuel. 25% is good. I usually shed these guys just for convenience, and make sure you have your remote hook, cargo hook here option on there. You don't need to select any of those other things. Those are handled by the mission. Equipment, you can take off stuff like the high intensity searchlight if you don't want that on. By default, I believe this livery should be set up to have that disabled, but I'll check the settings for that. And then options, we're running 433 That'll become important when we talk a little bit about some of the changes to the H145 and its cargo sling load, weight, and different things there. I always get questions about settings, cyclic control. I have uncentering springs, stability levels at 0, my dead zone's at 5, just so that I can have my hand on the stick without providing any input. Tail rotor control is on centering springs, stability is 0, dead zone's 5. So, with all that said and all that done, we're good. We've got vortex ring state enabled in the settings, so we'll have to be careful that we don't do that. I think to start us off here, I'm going to get us into a little bit of a hover, and we'll head over to the tools and pick up the crate to bring it up to the top of the mountain here. So over here you can see this lonely little crate. We do have some indicators on the tablet that show us and help us get lined up in there. You do need to be low. I believe it's below 20 for the hook to be close enough, but don't quote me on that exact height. If you feel like you're hovering over it and you're not seeing any change with the indicator there, lower your elevation just a little bit. You can use your auto hover mode if you're having some difficulty with the helicopter getting into the proper position. And I might not be far enough forward. Not seeing any changes in there. Oh, I was able to hook up to it though. I hit the trigger one time and I got that that change on the indicator. So a couple things we can take a look at our weight and performance. We just went from 5,200 pounds to 5,600 pounds. That'll be more important when we pick up the logs. You'll see that. But I'm going to actually cut to an exterior view, and you can see as we start to climb out of here, one of the big changes in, I think starting in 430, we're up to build 433 now, is the sling load weight and effect of the sling load that you have underneath your helicopter. Actually, you'll feel, and by feel I mean you'll notice the changes with your handling. It tends to pendulum more than it did, and you'll feel as you are sidestepping or hovering that as you stop, the weight of your cargo, either a Bambi bucket or cargo that you might be sling loading, continues its inertia, and you'll actually feel or see the helicopter move with that. So good changes, good improvement in how the helicopter handles and what happens with that. But we're going to try and keep this one somewhat reasonable for a time, and we're going to fly up here to the upper site. We'll drop off the tools and we'll pick up some logs. So as we continue our climb up the hill, try and get us in a spot where we can see the clearing for the lower platform. And I think it's actually on the side of the hill here, so we might miss it. Zoom the map out a little more, make sure I get my bearings. I've flown this quite a few times, but yeah, so it's actually down on the side of the hill over there.
500.
But if you need help, the points are marked on the map here for the HPG tablet, so you can use that to locate your stuff. When we fly out of here, we will we'll swing out that way and see if we can't get a good view of it as we're flying out. So I'm gonna come down on the collective a little bit, start a little bit of a descent here, not too much. One of the things that I'm looking for is where we're supposed to drop this, because there was an update to the scenery. So we need to make sure we get into the drop zone or close enough to it so that the tools register our score. As you fly this and you get a little more familiar with the terrain and the scenery and stuff like that, you'll be picking it out if you start doing runs up and down the hill a lot easier. Kind of going slow. Number one, I haven't seen everything that changed with the latest scenery update. There was an update that WingBoss just pushed out. So this is destination. I believe that we're just supposed to drop this on the upper deck. Not to be confused with the practical joke. Dropping a deuce in the upper deck. We're actually putting the tools down here. But see if we can't get this onto the platform. Last time I thought I was right over the platform when I was dropping it down, and I actually missed it completely. I was off by a couple feet, so still getting used to the how far back the load is compared to where the view is for the pilot here. All right, so according to the indicator there, we have scored a point. Let's take a little bit of a slide back and see where we actually got it. I guess I dropped it a little bit short. Down here on the ground, right off of this platform, you can land on the platform if you want, but right down here below us, you can see that set of logs. We're gonna get above that. Let's see if we can't pick those up. So a couple things about this: if you're flying with turbulence, you're going to want to turn those turbulence settings down to low. I think there was a scenery change. So we've got a good hook on those logs. I want you guys to watch down here. 5196 is our total weight in pounds. As I add in collective, you'll see that jumps up to 7841, and it's going to try to pull us down and bog us down there. So we have that weight on here now. Makes a significant difference in the handling. And I'm up into the yellow, almost up to the red, but you want to give it a minute to let things kind of settle. Make sure you got enough power to climb out. If you tried to come in here with more than 25% fuel, you're going to have a bad day. Alright, we've got enough elevation to clear the trees. We're going to start our descent down to the mill. At this point, it's more making sure that we don't overspeed the helicopter, because we'll start to descend quickly, and if we don't watch our speed, we'll get overspeed warnings. Alright, continuing our descent, we are about 900 feet AGL, and elevation's about 2,600 feet here. We're going to slow our descent so we're not dropping so quickly, and we'll start to slow our speed up here as well. We want to be able to drop in and plop these logs down in the drop zone, so just make sure you're watching your horizontal speed as well as your vertical speed. Keep yourself out of that VRS if you have that enabled. But the helicopter is very heavy and it handles like it. They've done a good job of changing the dynamics of the helicopter based on how much weight's hanging below it. height-wise, we're good there. We cleared the trees. We're going to come down into the drop zone here somewhere. Try and bring ourselves into a hover. You can drop the logs anywhere in this blue zone and have it count for a point, but see if we can't get past this set of logs here that have been dropped down as part of the scenery. Get nice and close to that point. Appears that the cargo is on the ground. I'm going to click that once. See our total weight drop down to 51.66 again, and we just scored another point. So I think that gives you guys the gist of it. We'll take a look at a little bit more flying around in a little bit of a cinematic movie with this, and I want to thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure that you head over and check out the links that are down in the description. Leave me a like. If you're not subscribed yet, make sure you do that. It means a lot. And give me a comment and let me know what you think of the scenery. You think WingBoss did a good job? Let me know your comments on the livery if you're checking that out, and if you're going to go cop it from flightsim.to. Make sure you leave me a note and let me know what you think of it.